Hey Steelers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our Steelers Talk news and rumor video here on a Tuesday. Before we go ahead and jump into the latest Pittsburgh Steelers training camp news and rumors, make sure you guys are subscribed. That way you can get in on our mailbag video coming up this weekend over the next couple of days. We will go down below and take as many questions that you guys submit using the hashtag Steelers to poll and answer on our mailbag video. So go down below, use the hashtag Steelers, ask any Pittsburgh Steelers related question you possibly could want. I'll pull the best 5, 6, 7 questions and answer them on a mailbag video. Gotta be subscribed though first to get into the mailbag, so do both down below right now. I jumped in the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumors here on a Tuesday, as Pittsburgh is a couple of days away from the Hall of Fame game, which I'm very excited for, because of course that means football is officially back with actual games, and the quarterback number 2, the backup quarterback spot, is starting to heat up. This battle we've been keeping an eye on, entering training camp after the first week of training camp, I think is starting to shift a little bit here, because as we know, Mason Rudolph was the preseason number 2 quarterback. He was the incumbent, if you will. He started all the number 2 reps, all the second team reps over the first basically week and a half. That has started to change. The latest report out of Pittsburgh Steelers training camp is that Dwayne Haskins has started to kind of mix in with the second team reps. Did all the third team reps the first week, and then over the weekend and into this week, he's starting to kind of split reps with Mason Rudolph, and he's playing better by all intents and purposes, and reports there in the camp in terms of media being there actually watching training camp. The question really is going to be is who gets the second team reps in the Hall of Fame game? Like, are they going to march out Mason Rudolph because he's the incumbent, or will they let Dwayne Haskins get his run with the 2s? That's a real question mark. That's something to keep an eye on for Thursday night's preseason opener. Now, Steelers now has a good write-up on this, referencing what has been happening in terms of the split reps right now at the number 2 quarterback spot. Quote, Mason Rudolph struggled under the Friday night lights and on Saturday afternoon. He was no longer the unquestioned backup to Big Ben Roethlisberger. As the Steelers went through team reps, it was clear that Haskins and Rudolph were no longer differentiated, but in fact were splitting reps. Haskins had a bit of an off day, including an interception and a few overthrows, but Rudolph did nothing to capitalize off some of the struggles Haskins showed, end quote. So you're seeing that there's no differentiation between running with the 3s or running with the 2s right now from a quarterback standpoint in the Steel City. Here's the deal. I mean, this is very, very obvious. Preseason games are everything right now for the backup quarterback position. Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, they will win or lose this battle, not in 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s. It'll be based on their play over the 4 preseason games for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Whoever plays better, in my opinion, over those 4 games, will go ahead and win the number 2 spot. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is going to play a lot in the preseason, so Haskins and Rudolph are going to get a lot of opportunities to go ahead and prove their worth as the backup quarterback. I mentioned 4, of course, preseason games for the Steelers because they do have the Hall of Fame game taking place 2 days from filming this video on Thursday night. Of course, NBC, they're going to have the whole broadcast there in terms of the Hall of Fame game, as they always do. And I think this is a really interesting one to tune in from a Steeler fan perspective, because you're going to see a lot of players battling for position groups, trying to go ahead and make the roster. I think by probably the Lions, the Panthers preseason game, whether it's the 3rd or 4th week, whatever it is, we're going to have a pretty good indication on who's going to be the number 2 quarterback, and really an indication on if they're going to keep 3. Like, if you lose the number 2 quarterback but are still on the roster as a 3rd-string quarterback or a practice squad guy, it's not the end of the world, but if you're going to cut somebody, it means this battle gets even more interesting. It's not really a surprise, in my opinion, that Haskins is playing really well and even better than Mason Rudolph. Was a first-round draft pick. Mason Rudolph, obviously not a first-round draft pick. And Haskins, albeit as bad as he was in Washington, does have all the, I think, intangibles you would want in a backup quarterback or even a starting quarterback at some point during his career, as he obviously was at some point. One final thought here really is for you guys. Who do you think is going to win? Like, who do you think is going to win the number 2 quarterback spot? Is it Haskins or Mason Rudolph? Answer the question down below in the comment section. Type H down below for Haskins, or I think it's going to be Mason Rudolph. Type R down below for Rudolph. I'm leaning towards Haskins. I'm leaning towards it based on what we're seeing, but a lot of preseason games left, and we'll wait and see what happens over the next couple of weeks here to finally crown a winner, as cuts are basically a month away down to 53-man roster. Give me your thoughts, though. Who wins the number 2 quarterback spot down below? All right, if you guys want to be a part of nonstop Steeler coverage, not just, camp stuff, but into the regular season as well, subscribe here to the Steelers Talk YouTube channel for all the latest Steeler updates all season long. We are your one-stop shop for everything happening with the team in the Steel City as they try and not only go back to winning the division, but make another deep playoff run as they did last year, or they tried to do last year, I should say. Make sure you guys are subscribed and join the fan base and join the club right here as we're trying to grow this channel as quickly as possible. All right, let's jump into, I think, a very interesting news bit here regarding our Pittsburgh Steelers and the Hall of Fame game. Normally, you would say, okay, they're playing the Cowboys in the Hall of Fame game. It's the first preseason game. Like, you're not going to see any of the starters. Like, how often do starters play in a Hall of Fame game minus, like, one quick 3 and out? Like, there's normally not a lot of playing being out there. And yet, even though there is still a lot of uncertainty on who is going to play and how much that person will play, Najee Harris was asked about this, the rookie running back out of Alabama, and he wants to play as much as he can. He was very adamant in the quote we'll show you here in just a couple of seconds that he wants to play, he wants to get reps, and he wants to be out there on Thursday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Here was Najee Harris when asked about playing in the Hall of Fame game. We'll throw that up on your screen. Quote, "It's a new way to get your feet wet and let the game slow down for you. I'm trying to play as much as I can that game, but you know what I really want to do is take as much game reps as possible," end quote. Now, of course, does that mean he's going to play a lot? No, because Mike Tomlin has the final say on how much he's going to go ahead and play. But I think it makes sense that he should be out there a little bit to go ahead and get those game reps at an NFL speed, as of course, we all know the difference between that and college football. My question is, will this Hall of Fame game be different? Like, without preseason last year, and even though the Steelers and Cowboys are the only two teams with 4 preseason games, could you see the starters play a little bit more just to kind of, get the rust off a little bit sooner? I doubt it. Like, I really think that you're going to see most of the starters not play on Thursday night, but Harris, I think, has a real good chance of playing because he is a rookie. The question is, of course, workload, because he's going to be the number one running back this year. You don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, you do want to get him acclimated to, being the Steelers' number one running back, even if it is in a preseason form. I'll be shocked if Big Ben plays. Like, I don't think Big Ben is going to go ahead and play on Thursday night. There's been no announcement based on filming this here on a Tuesday. Like, that could change on Wednesday or Thursday, depending when you watch this video. But I'd be shocked if he's out there. If he is, it would be for like one series. It'd be super short. Out of all the players on the offense who could use some reps, Big Ben is not one of them. I don't think he's going to be out there. But overall, at least be a football back. Like, at least we get to see Steelers Cowboys literally 2 days from now. Like, we have not seen football since the Super Bowl on our TV screens, and now we get the Steelers in the first preseason game. So I'm pumped. I'll be watching. I know you guys will be too. I cannot wait for Thursday night. And you get the NBC broadcast. You get Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. Like, what more could you possibly ask for? My favorite duo to call a football game. Cowboys-Steelers. Going to be a lot of fun on Thursday night. What do you think? Should the starters play on Thursday night? Like, do you think the starters should play at all on Thursday night? Do you think they should? Type Y down below for yes. Do you think that they should not? Then go ahead and go down below and type N down below for no. All right, a couple of quick training camp storylines here as we kind of do this at the end of each video, giving you a little, quick bullet point updates of what's going on in training camp. First off, Chase Claypool says he wants to catch 14 touchdowns in 2021, which is a very big number. I mean, Claypool was really good his rookie year. He kind of, faltered a little bit there in the second half of the season, but still a great young wide receiver. I mean, go for it. Like, what do you want me to say here? Will he get 14 touchdowns? Probably not. There are a lot of receivers that need the football, including Juju Smith-Schuster. So 14 would be a good number. Maybe it's an indication you need to draft him for your fantasy football team, because if he had 14 touchdowns for your fantasy football team, I mean, boom, you're going to win a lot of football games in your fantasy league. Also, Pro Football Focus put out a list of a percentage chance of teams winning the Super Bowl. They give the Steelers a 1% chance to win, which kind of sounds bad. But then you realize they ranked them the 6th best team in the AFC, so it kind of makes sense. Like, the Chiefs had a 15% chance to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to read into that too much. I think Pro Football Focus talks out of their butt a lot, and so, 1%? Like, really, only 1% chance? Not a big deal. Other news is that the wide receivers were shining a lot in week 1 of training camp. Not just Claypool, not just Smith-Schuster. Deontay Johnson's been playing very, very well. That was one of the big takeaways from people up at Steelers training camp, is that their wide receiver group, which is young but very talented, looks even better than what they did last year. And so good news out of Steelers training camp is that right now, we know that the wide receivers are playing great, as we expect them to. I mean, it's not just Juju. It's not just Chase Claypool. They're going to have 4 guys out there, including James Washington and Deontay Johnson, who really can produce in a big way. So it's good news to see that the wide receivers are playing well, and so far during training camp have been winning a lot of battles, 1-on-1, 7-on-7, and 11-on-11s at Steelers training camp. Speaking of throwing the football, Big Ben's deep ball has been looking good, and he's been throwing some deep balls, and so that's a big question mark for a lot of Steelers fans and really national media. Oh, has Big Ben lost his deep ball? No, I don't think so. At least so far in training camp, everything we've heard and seen, it has been pretty good. Pretty good so far, so can't complain about the Big Ben deep ball. And finally, no Dak Prescott in the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Not a surprise there. Again, there probably won't be a Big Ben in the Hall of Fame game, but Prescott is dealing with shoulder soreness right now in his throwing shoulders. He hasn't been throwing at Cowboys training camp, so even if Dak wanted to be out there and the ankle's healed, like Dak could play on Thursday, the shoulder is the issue right now, and so he has been officially ruled out and said he will not play in the Hall of Fame game. So no Prescott out there. You get the Cowboy backups against the Steeler backups, really, for the entire Hall of Fame game, because that's how the Hall of Fame game essentially works. All right, let me ask you guys a final question. Who you got on Thursday night? Not that it really matters, but who wins the game? Steelers, type S. If you got the Cowboys, I don't know why. Type C down below for Cowboys. Hopefully our backups beat their backups. It's the battle of the backups in the Hall of Fame game, as it always is. Okay, ultimate for today here on our Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumor video game. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That way you can kind of get in on the latest videos, as well as our upcoming mailbag video by using the hashtag Steelers and commenting your mailbag question down below in the comments section. Ultimate for today here on our Steelers Talk news and rumor video. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. The rest of your day.